Call the Village Johnsburg, August 20th, 2019, regular meeting of the President and Board of Trustees to order at 7 o'clock. Roll call. Trustee Klumstein. Here. Trustee Frost.
Here.
Trustee Hagan.
Here.
Trustee Curry.
Here.
Trustee McAvoy and Trustee Foreman.
Here.
Can we stand for the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
From the floor, any public comment? Any public comment? No? Okay. With there being none, can I entertain a motion for the omnibus agenda?
So move it.
Motion by Trustee McAvoy, seconded by Trustee Hagan. Discussion on the motion. Anything that anybody wants to poll? Discussion on the motion?
Can we just get some more details about the interested parties registry?
Sure.
Yes, simply that this is a mechanism by which if someone expresses an interest in the TIF district, the proposed formation of it, the boundaries, information regarding the same, this is an opportunity for a community person, community association, a community informal group that says, please send information as it comes along in terms of the study itself, when it's finalized and submitted to the board, as well as other documentation. If you want to see a list of the owners within the area, which would be a very small list, any of that information is available. Most people usually simply take advantage of staff by asking specific questions, but this is something that is endorsed by the statute, which is why we're doing it. There is a lot of paperwork associated with the TIF process.
Okay. I'm sure everybody will have more questions about it as we go along, so don't hesitate to, let Claudette know and we'll get the answers for it. Okay. Anything else, Josh? You want to
No,
hold?
I'm good.
Are you okay with that explanation? We can pass it all on to you. Okay. Anything else? With there being none, Trustee Foreman, Trustee McAvoy.
Aye.
Trustee Curry. Aye. Trustee Hagan.
Aye.
Trustee Frost.
Aye.
Trustee Klumstein.
Aye.
Motion carried. The only thing I have tonight is the revamping of committees, which will take place the first of the month. We will see Beth taking over Community Affairs, Tom going to D&G, and Kyle going to Ordinance. Okay. I'd like your consent on all that. All the committees will stay the same. I don't have all the requests that went out last Wednesday after our meeting. Some people have replied yes, some people have replied no. Some people we've asked not to stay on the committees because of no attendance. Beth, do you have some?
No.
No. I tried to raise your hand. It's like an auction. Don't not. You bought it.
Len Beachy wants to get off my...
Yeah, I know that. I know that. So we'll take all that into consideration.
Right, and I have a couple of recommendations.
Okay, tell them to put in the form.
Right.
And we go right in order with who we have, because we may have some for certain committees that have been requested. Okay. I'm hoping that Tom will still finish up the football field and all that kind of stuff. Make sure that we get that done. He's well into it, and help Beth with the changeover. But I think we're pretty well set for Celebration in the Park, right?
Got a good start, yeah.
That's all good. Staff has been working on it. I think the insurances are all taken care of. State liquor license can only be done 30 days ahead of time, so we're well ahead of where we've been in most years.
I have a meeting with Jill on Monday, discussion of that.
You have a meeting with Jill and Tom to admit and make sure we're all ready to go with that, okay? Okay, so I'd like to advice and consent for the board to do that? Maybe we can do it in a motion and a vote. Motion by trustee Curry, seconded by trustee McAvoy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay? No? Okay, thank you. New business. Monica?
Yeah,
Okay.
what do you need me to do? Have to come up?
Well, you can come up here because you're a very important person.
Yeah.
You know, we want to hear from you.
You can come up and talk to
Yeah.
us individually.
Yeah, no. I don't know if you want to see what we had
Well, I think
drawn
what
up.
Monica is requesting is a gaming license just like BP. We offered it to them when BP requested it. They're going to set up the same type of arrangement.
Oh, right here?
Right.
That's what you're
Right
looking
here?
at.
The mole.
No, the mobile, Sunnyside Little Store. So,
So, I don't know, did you want this, or?
yeah, sure. Is that a diagram of what you
Yeah, just a quick.
Who drew it, you or Chuck?
I did.
He didn't like mine.
I'm not it doesn't look like Chuck, no.
You know, we measured about how much room everyone's using.
Right.
We're just putting it kind of up
This is
in
going to be
there.
the stools there, right.
Yeah.
Cooler, storage, where's the machines?
This will be where, in
Oh,
the
right
space
here,
here.
okay. So you'll have an area where you can serve?
Yeah, it's either back over in here, or it'll just connect.
Okay. Yeah, so what I think we're doing tonight is giving permission to issue another Class A liquor license that will allow them to have the gaming just like the BP has. And if there's any discussion on that?
Go ahead. Kevin, go ahead.
Is this the first read, or is this,
It's first read, yes.
First read, okay.
Yeah, we need to have an ordinance before you, this is just
Right.
an initial one.
This is just the initial request, and then we'll do the ordinance, and I don't think we need a second read if everybody agrees to it.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Quick question, I'm sorry. No, you're welcome, it's okay. Will they be required to have a bachelor license for somebody there?
Oh, we all have them.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Because obviously you're serving, you got...
Well, we
you're not
sell
serving.
retail, so everyone.
Even the
Yeah,
retail,
so,
they have
Yeah.
the
so
basket.
And it's-
and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the
Okay.
basset's the same regardless if it's packaged or,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, so,
You guys gonna have like some type of knee wall separating it out?
yeah, like a half wall.
They have to have it separate.
Right.
And we'll put Chuck in some skimpy little outfit serving cocktails.
I'll definitely go there.
Chuck will be with his badge and his hat.
I have a badge on my body.
Oh, yeah.
Don't put that in.
Just take it away. Don't put it in. Any questions for Monica or Chuck?
Good.
Any agreement or any concerns that we should bring up, any of them answer?
Do you think it'll change the amount of people coming in the store, and traffic flow in and out? We see parking an issue.
Oh, gosh, no, there's
There's
two
a
empty
whole
lots
lot.
right now. There's 4 lots there total.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we had to make the parking lot bigger, which you wouldn't, I mean, there's plenty of parking.
Do you anticipate that there will be more?
Well, sure, a little bit more. I mean, a few cars here and there, but all the other traffic is in and out,
Mhm.
so.
But this may not be in and out, this might be, people are,
Right, but I mean, there's only, 5 machines, so that'd be 5 cars, so. Or,
Or it could
whatever.
be 6 machines now that the
Oh, that,
governor is
yeah.
increasing it, so. Whatever, he would,
He's increasing it to 6?
it was increasing it to 6, yes.
you gonna say on which machines you pick, which games are offered on? or-
I don't believe so. I think they bring in whatever they bring in. So I'm just kind of starting the process, so I know it's a little lengthy anyway.
Okay, if you guys think any concerns, bring them up, Claudette, we'll get back to Monica and Chuck. I don't think there's any problem.
You know, Ed, my thought is that I'm okay with this, but, with the marijuana thing coming into play, do we need to think about putting something in place where we're gonna have a limitation, or are we just gonna allow it? I don't know. I mean, a lot
Well, it's the limitation
a lot
on-
of cities and counties are,
Yeah, crazy like,
yeah.
I don't see how we can limit it to Monica and Chuck if we gave it to BP. I think
No, no,
we have to be
no, no,
fair
no,
across.
no, I'm not-
I think,
I'm
no,
not-
no, no, no.
No,
Just let me
this
finish.
is separate from
Yeah,
that.
Talking
yeah,
about
but I think that
Yeah, I know.
any of those stations, I mean, if it was Marathon up on Chapel Hill and Johnsburg Road, if it's,
I'm not talking
we only
about
got
that.
three. You
I'm
know, I
just
think that
talking
we have
about
to.
the marijuana law that's gonna come into place in January. Do we wanna put any limitations on that? Outside of what you guys wanna do.
Yeah.
But it's already working on ordinances, or they're not working on okay. So we're gonna have some,
Totally separate.
we're going through them.
If you're not gonna be like five jacks of cigarettes.
But it's gonna be
I think you're gonna have to go.
Well, it's gonna be regulated, but there's counties and villages that are treatment way, that they are not gonna allow it. And that's what I'm ready.
We cannot allow it.
So,
Is that what
we need.
It's just like we could make it a dry town.
Right. So I'm just saying that maybe.
Okay, that's a suggestion.
Meeting adjourned.
I'm not saying we're making it dry.
Don't put that in the minutes.
But the marijuana thing too, I mean, the marijuana thing is gonna have to be, just like tobacco, I would think. You gotta be 15 feet from the door and all this other stuff.
Well,
And maybe even more.
There's a
I don't
lot.
know, I mean, we could regulate it more.
There's a lot of villages,
Right.
and there's a lot of villages and townships that are saying that when the legalization of marijuana comes into play in January, they're not gonna allow it in their community.
Mhm.
And I just want, I'm throwing it out there, I don't care one way or the other, but I think that's something that we need to think about.
We are thinking about it as we speak. We got different ordinances that we're looking at, and we'll bring it up for discussion, and you guys can decide
Right.
that you want to not do it, or whatever, okay? But there's several different things out there. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. I think we got to look at what all these towns have done and
It was just a
make
thought
a
that I came up
decision.
with when
But it's
we came across this.
a good idea, you know, I mean, it doesn't matter to me, you know? I'm not going to be smoking it.
Enter the road district.
Okay. Chuck, Monica, is there any other concerns that you have? I mean, the board, I don't think he has any concerns. And if there are any questions, make sure you call Claudette, bring them up. And if the board has any, they'll bring them up. And we'll try to get on approval, right?
Yeah, I think ideally what we want to do is indicate in the record that you guys support it, but I don't think until they actually pull it down, do you want to change the ordinance.
Right. We don't want to increase the amount of liquor license, A1 liquor licenses until we know you're going to apply for one. Okay. But I don't think there's any problem.
Yeah.
You know, we've done your background checks, and we don't, you know, Chuck hasn't been out doing any felonies or anything, so.
The night is still young.
I just really. Okay, thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Trustee Curry, concession stand operations.
Yes, sir. So I think everybody's aware that Miller Park has a space for a concession stand. It has a 3-compartment sink, and up until recently when Shannon cleaned it out, it had a lot of junk in it. But Shannon, when he started, got it all cleaned up, and Junior Skyhawks would like to use it for football games coming up here real soon and in the future. So we just have to do an agreement between Junior Skyhawks and the village. The Junior Skyhawks are looking to run it during the Junior Skyhawk season. Not interested. I can't get anything. I've had enough time getting parents to run it during our games, let alone operate it during baseball or anything like that. I'm not aware of anybody that's interested in running it year-round for different sports and events. But Junior Skies are running for our games, already purchasing equipment, you know, a grill, freezer, refrigerator, all the stuff that wasn't in there. And all that would be a donation to the village. Anybody that, you know, anybody else that wants to use it, you know, if the high school wants to use it for softball, baseball, or JVBL or JPL, if anybody wants to operate it, you know, we wouldn't, Junior Skyhawks wouldn't have a problem with other programs using the facility, you know, as long as they, you know, take care of things, treat it with respect, just like we will do. You know, clean up after themselves and all. The one thing that we would need to do is keep some stuff on site, you know, frozen. We're doing, you know, frozen pizzas or frozen burgers or something. We'd like to keep that stuff on site just during the season. Probably some dry goods. So, you know, if we can put a cabinet within the concession stand that we can lock, you know, that kind of thing. But that's pretty much it.
Well, I think probably the way we have to look at that is, up until now, it's been an exclusive that whoever operates it, and several people have tried, operated for every sports event or anything going on at the park. Okay, I know that's difficult, no doubt about it, with volunteers or, okay, but I think somehow, and Beth, you're going to have to get involved in that, is how do we keep a cabinet, you know, maybe we get consistent cabinets, where the Skyhawks have a cabinet, the JVBL has a cabinet, they're all the same, the high school has a cabinet, so they can keep their spiritware in it, you know, what season, what's the dates that the Skyhawks are going to use it from this date to this date, and they got to clean it out and make sure it's cleaned out. I think the stuff that, you know, the junk in there that you mentioned, Tom, was accumulated by these groups. I know I was in there one day and almost had a heart attack the way it looked, and it looked like hell, you know, and we got to keep that cleaned up.
Well, I mean, who has it, does somebody have a master lock and control over that?
Well, most people go in through we give them the combination to the overhead door, they go in and they move baseball equipment out, baseball equipment in, football equipment out, football equipment in. So
Maybe we need to rethink that, maybe somebody has to have a master lock to...
You have to have control over it, I get it, but I don't know how you're going to, you know, unless we're going to have an employee go up there every time there's an event and control it. The police officers open the bathrooms daily and lock, right, Pete? Still? Randy locks them daily and opens them daily, make sure they're, you know, there's a mishap or a problem, they get a hold of Shannon goes up there and makes sure they're clean and takes care of that part of it. So, I think that we just have to, as Tom gets done and the high school wants to use it, or if it's simultaneously, make sure somehow we have to come up with a way to control that the Skyhawks clean up when they're done, high school cleans up when they're done. You know, we want it used, no doubt about it. I don't think anybody has any objection to it. But we got to come up with agreements with all those people and try to get the JVBL to use it, try to get the Pigtail to use it, try to get the high school baseball to use it. And, you know, it's a great facility and, you know, I'm all with you, Tom. The mess that was up there should have never happened. It was out of control.
Yeah. No, Shannon cleaned it up really nice.
Right.
You know, Junior Skyhawks have people that are food certified, you know, because we operate a high school concession stand when we play at the high school. So we've been doing it that way since 2012.
Well, I think what we have to have is that little insurance that lapse, so we know we're insured, they're insured. That the health department, we have to see the certified food handlers. We have to do that for the high school when they use it, the JVBL when they use it, the health permits. And I know that's probably the biggest hassle of the whole thing, is the health department, you know.
The insurance that's provided by the Junior Skyhawks will cover these other groups also?
No.
They would have to have separate.
They're going to all have to have a separate agreement.
So they're gonna have to have a separate agreement with us? as
Yes.
well?
Yes.
I would say that also to get insurance.
Whoever uses it's going to have a separate agreement.
And I can't imagine we're gonna have a lot of crossover, you know, JHS is there in the spring. Junior Scouts are there in the fall. JPL, you know, they have occasional games there, and they're not gonna open the concession stand for 6 innings of softball. Frankly, JHS, the feedback I've gotten from them up until this point has been that there's limited interest because manpower, you know, getting people to go up there.
And volunteers to man it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and as far as the access, Kevin, you know, it's tricky because, you know, we're charging very minimal fees for what people get, but it's up to these groups to maintain, you know, they have to drag their own fields and all that
Right.
stuff. So they have to have access to the property, you know, and we just have to have a good working relationship with them where they take care of things, or they lose the privilege.
How many refrigerator/freezers do we have in there? So if you have 2 or 3 groups, do we have?
I don't
put
think-
a lock on each one of these things?
No, I think what Tom is proposing is they'll have a refrigerator freezer. It won't lap over. So in other words, they'll store their frozen stuff in the freezer. The rest of the time, the refrigerator will be used for that event. When the high school goes in the spring versus them being in the fall, they'll use the same thing. It will be cleaned out.
I guess.
So I guess our deal will be that our facilities maintenance person makes sure that whoever leaves cleans up their mess, because he's done a lot of work at making everything organized.
That goes back to the security thing.
Right. And he will do that. We can control that.
But if somebody
Is there a
breaks-
door between
I mean,
the
that's
overhead garage
more
doors
economic.
and the concession
Yes.
stand? Is there a door?
Yes.
Should we maybe not key that separately so that they?
Well, I
they're
think the
only ones that-
freezers might have to be in the outside room. I'm not even sure. Is there-
No, there's room in there.
Okay, and there's a door between there where that door can be locked.
Yeah,
Right.
we should key that separately, so that way they have control over it.
Right.
I'm just talking about security, you know?
Well, same thing, if somebody breaks a piece of equipment, who's ultimately gonna be responsible for?
Well, I mean, you know, you get kids that might bust in there.
I know, yeah.
You know?
Well, the Skyhawks are donating the equipment to the village, right?
Right.
I'm hoping it's not busted up stuff, it's all roughly good stuff.
Some of it's
Okay,
brand new.
so you're donating it to the village, and we're going to have to maintain it, okay, once it's donated to the village. And, you know, if somebody doesn't take care of it, you know, we'll have to control that. I mean, that's gonna happen
You know,
no matter
maybe-
what
maybe-
concession stand
You know,
does.
maybe that becomes one of Shannon's gigs after, you know, the game is over. He goes up there and makes sure it's.
It definitely will be, Kevin, and he will follow that. He will go down the list, just
Yeah,
like he has now. He's a list
yeah.
a million miles
Just
long.
throwing it out there, Rick.
Where he checks all those things off. And, you know, he will definitely do that. That's his job. You had a concern?
No, I think we need to finish off the details a little bit. I can work with Tom on that. You could talk about the term, how long you want it to be. The only question I have is, are you asking for a waiver of the fee that's in there?
The 150?
Yeah.
I don't think we need to ask for that. I mean, if people see fit, I'm not gonna say we'll pay it anyway. I mean, we're a 501c3 and, you know, money counts. But, yeah, I think, you know, we're putting in a $6,000 scoreboard that people can use. We're putting in the goalposts. We're, you know, buying equipment, you know, I mean, so if the 150 can be waived, that's wonderful. But, you know.
You know, just for consistency between organizations, I'd like to keep the 150 in there,
I'm okay with
because
that.
it's not huge.
It's fair.
But I'd like to keep it in there just so the other groups have skin in the game, you know what I mean? So,
Sure.
you know, because what we, like Kevin brought up, I mean, it's one of Shannon's deals. We're still paying that guy to make sure it goes in there and it's clean and that,
Yep.
you know, it's taken care of, and that, you know, he screams like hell if it's not. you know, so we can get it fixed and maintain it. I mean, we're
I
pretty
mean,
proud of all that
if he
stuff.
if he goes in there the next morning and found the place is trashed, then we know who was there.
Right.
So,
And he's gonna clean it up, but, I mean, those guys will be responsible for
It's just holding
dumping
it.
garbage and doing that stuff, and they leave it all behind.
I just want to hold him responsible.
Yeah, hold the other
That's all.
groups responsible,
That's
and
all.
we're gonna do it.
So I'm not really concerned about the $150 fee, but,
Oh, I get it.
mean, like the ball
I'm fine
diamond,
with that.
the JBBL, we gave the, you know, the mount, and they gave that to the village, or if they needed that mount, portable mount, they gave it to the village. I think the $150 is just skin in the game for us to have Shannon and those guys check it. I think it's a good idea.
I agree.
Not that you guys haven't donated, we appreciate it. Keep sending it.
You know, you can make it where it's partially refundable if the place is left in the condition that you want.
Well, that's a good idea.
$25, $50 back if it's.
Sounds like a community affairs thing.
That's coming up.
Well, I think that's a good point, if it's an organization in the village, and they take care of it, and clean it up, and leave it in good order, and then we refund it all.
Or you make
Because
it
it's a-
more and refund a portion.
Right.
There you go. That's a good idea, I like that too.
And I, you know, just so if it gets done and it's all taken care of, let's give them the money back. We want them to use it.
And we want it.
So it's like a deposit.
It's like a deposit.
But it's a lot of very separate groups all using it together, and each one of them has to be responsible.
I like that
for keeping
idea.
it, you know, in
Good
a
idea.
reasonable condition.
Beth, you like that idea? Kevin likes that idea, so we'll
I like
do
it.
it.
I
like that.
You have to vote on that idea?
I just think it's,
Well, the thing is, I mean, it's, the thing's basically been empty and unused for, I
4
mean,
or 5
it
years.
literally is not, well, it's never been used that I'm aware of as a legitimate concession stand, because we don't even have a hot water tank there.
well, it was. It was, we had a lease agreement twice, I think.
All right, well, they didn't have hot water, so the health department probably was never there.
I think they were
You know,
cooking.
the thing is
It
not
was
there to
no,
make
what they
money.
had was
Yeah.
just chips and
Yeah,
packaged
like
food and that
prepackaged,
stuff, and they didn't
okay.
want microwave.
The thing wasn't built there to make money.
No.
It was built for the village. So if people, you know, if a group leaves it in clean order, give them their money back.
I think that's a great idea. I think, you know, it's more like a deposit.
Yep.
I think, and as long as it's a village group.
Right.
If somebody wants to do it and they're outside the village,
That's
then I think the taxpayers here pay for it.
Then
You
we
know,
get the
that's a whole, another deal. Any other discussion on that? So I believe that the consensus of the board is that that's a good idea, Tom. Okay with it?
I'm okay.
Great, okay. Okay, first read, no action, move to approve ordinance 19-20-12, amending section 9, signs of the Johnsburg zoning ordinance.
Address that for you?
Yes, please.
I am very excited to present this to you. The Special Zoning Commission has been working on this for almost a year. As you can see, it's a considerable ordinance. Beth can attest to it. She spent a great deal of time on it as well. And so it's finally here before you. By no means do I expect we're only doing a first read and like just handing it to you tonight and expecting you to approve it. It's very lengthy. I'd like to spend some time at the next meeting, maybe talking about some of the details. Give you an opportunity to review it, talk about some of the details, and then perhaps get your feedback, and then maybe the following meeting, if you're prepared to approve it, we can do that. So, I think, you know, Beth, you tell me, you know, Frank was real helpful too when he came to the Planning and
He
Zoning
sure
Commission.
was.
Maybe we have him come to that next meeting too,
He really
to
was.
address some of these things that were in there.
Mm-hmm.
So in the meantime, while you're reviewing it, if you have any questions or have clarifications that you need before the next meeting, just let me know.
Okay. First read?
Yeah, and like Claudette said, we don't expect you to read it all tonight. It's a pretty big document, so take your time and read it over, and
We'll address it.
we'll have next time, we'll have Claudette address what she thinks needs to be addressed and was changed and added, and then we'll have discussion on it and approve it. Okay. Unfinished business. Chief, do you have any?
No.
Mr. Hartwick? Sir. Rick? Conflict?
None.
Claudette? Any trustees? With there being none, committee reports. Trustee Foreman?
I do have one thing. We are reviewing the nuisance ordinance, and one of the members is concerned about the number of trailers for various boats, snowmobiles, et cetera, that are housed in a lot of driveways around town. And the suggestion from the member was, could zoning look at this and somehow control? The way the ordinance reads is that you can have one type of trailer. You can have a fishing boat trailer, you can have a pleasure boat trailer, you can have a snowmobile trailer. And the concern is that it's unsightly.
They have to be licensed.
Licensed, permitted. I don't know how the board feels about this, if we want zoning to take a look at it. Of course, in an R1 setting, not all homes have the ability to hide trailers. So there's just some concern there from the committee.
That's not a new subject. It's an old subject, and
Right.
I think, Keith, you maybe want to address it right now, as long as it can be any trailer, like two boat trailers, as long as they're different classes, right?
That's how
And
the
a
ordinance
snowmobile
reads.
trailer and
I think it says one type of each type of trailer.
Correct.
is that by plates,
So
the
you
way
got
it's
a
plated?
camper, a boat, a snowmobile,
A wave runner,
wave runner, might be,
a different,
you know, and, again,
Pop-up.
yeah, it's been, right, it's been addressed. At least,
10 times,
Right.
that I can remember.
That's in driveways, right?
Correct.
So if we
On the
have
property.
an area in my subdivision, which is, we own an easement that we have, and we allow people to park their trailers down there. But it's like a trailer park. You know, there might be 7 or 8 trailers down there. So I don't know how that falls. You know what I'm talking about.
And that's what I said, there's so many different driveway situations, you're on the river, you have different things to worry about.
Well, and we're a recreational area too, I mean, it has all
Exactly.
these different
And it's-
types of trailers and along the river and,
And the push.
you know, I don't know if you know, by the residential zoning, I mean, is there a way to look at it and control it because of the size of the lot? I mean, I guess it's different than people that have an acre lot and can park it somewhere where it isn't annoying to the neighbor. I guess it's common sense too. I don't know how you control it, but, you know, it's just like the shelters that we had such a problem with.
Right.
You know, the people that maintained them were no problem, but the
Right.
people that let them blow over and, you know, the snowmobiles and the tapping them
Railing
over.
all over the place.
Correct, I mean, that was the problem, so that's why we outlawed them, you know. And I know there's still a few, and you know, the people hide them, and they got a big yard and a pine tree, and nobody knows it's even there, you know. It's different than being in the front of somebody's front yard, you know.
Right.
So that's always been a problem, like Chief said, it's been addressed at least 10 times. Do you have any suggestions?
maybe, whatever the board wants.
Thanks.
It's a frequent
Thanks for the
problem.
backup.
You know, Mr. Lightpoint, right, the guy had a construction trailer, had a camper, you know, and I think at one point we wanted them to be on improved services, and the board didn't want to do that. You know, I mean, we've tried to regulate it, and most of the time the board yields to not doing anything because we're a recreational community.
And it is the truth, I mean.
But it is annoying when you have a 60-foot lot with a house and a garage.
That's why we thought maybe
And it's
zoning.
just packed with trailers from the river to the road, and half the driveway, you can't blame the neighbors for getting upset either. I mean, I don't know,
No, I
right,
mean-
do we make it seasonal?
That,
Huh?
it's tough, I mean, the only point I would say too is that new PUDs and everything else, when they're coming with their homeowners association, that's where it's gonna be controlled, usually in the HOA. Obviously, you have older
But this is-
subdivisions. I know,
we
the
don't
older
have that.
ones are,
And
Sunnyside
that's-
right here, that's where your problems are, because the HOA is not enforcing that. So that's, it is a question of that, but other areas are controlled now because we have those HOAs are
Well-
to take care of it.
It's like that gentleman.
You know, it's like, it's like, okay, if you have a boat,
He's
okay,
got
Right.
and you park it in your driveway off Lincoln
camper
Road,
with the
where do you
big cover over
put it
it.
away and store it?
Yeah, put it next to
If
it.
you have
I think the boat's
snowmobiles,
gone
do you
now.
take them out in the
It's an eyesore. I mean, if I,
winter? And I
I
understand,
live
you know,
across the
you're
street
using
from
them
the
and you're
river,
going up north and
and
everything,
big taxes,
but in the
I'd be ticked.
summer, you store it, you know? I mean, I don't know what's, you know, I think there's some common sense that never prevails, but, it's like, you know, if I used to have snowmobiles, I put them away in the summer and paid to store them, and I took them out in the winter, and, you know, used
Put
them
the
to
boat
drag
away.
them up north. I have a boat in the summer, I store it in the winter, and take the trailer out. I think the people are more concerned about the stuff that just sits there forever.
Exactly, the campers
You know, and I don't know how to control that. Do we say it has to be seasonal? Would that work, Keith, or is that a
The
bad
only
idea?
recommendation that I made was that they should be on improved surfaces, because if it's an improved, if it sits on an improved surface.
You're
that
talking
means
paved
perfect.
driveway.
Whatever the ordinance says is an improved surface, because we talked about that also, because you know, maybe on the river, you want someone to have a gravel driveway because of flooding and things like that. So is that an approved or an allowed definition or material for an improved surface? So, because then that would limit people, because again, in the new neighborhoods, HOAs are not gonna allow this. They're not gonna let you have a camper, you know, in a boat, in a, you know, bobcat on a trailer, you know, and that's what we run into when we say types of trailers, so.
Well, the Bobcat on a trailer shouldn't be allowed at all, that's a construction code.
If I find it, I will cite it immediately.
But no, I mean,
It was
that's the
just
point,
it was
that's
just
not
an
something
example,
that
just an
we
example of
do.
another kind of trailer, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, right now, like D plates aren't allowed, right?
Right, but they can have TA, TB, TC. on
So a
trailer.
TA would be a small snowmobile or trailer, TB might be a larger one and a boat trailer, and a
Just the-
TC could be a bigger
It's the
boat
weight,
trailer.
Right, it's the weight, so.
So,
There you go.
do you think by changing the ordinance that it's on an improved surface would help?
I think it would limit people to their ability to the number of trailers that they could have. I mean, everybody in here has.
The size wise, right?
Right, so if you live on a 60-foot lot, how much pavement do you have? And if you have an acre, how much pavement do you have? And if you have an RV pad as part of your driveway, then you can have an RV, right?
I think it's maybe a step to consider in the right direction. I mean, you know, go ahead, Rick.
But then what do you do with, in a situation like you cited, where if you've got a utility trailer that you use to pull with behind your lawnmower, and you got it stuck out in the back behind a fir tree that nobody can see, that's not on an improved surface. Does this just have to be a roadable trailer, Pete? Is that what you're thinking? A
Well,
trailer that actually goes on the road?
Does that trailer need registration?
No, I wouldn't say so.
So, I mean, if it doesn't need registration.
Then it can be part of
A
the.
lot of people
Might
have
not even be
snowmobile trailers that they
Considered
use
a
to pull
trailer
in.
by definition
Yeah.
from the IBC.
Yeah, so I mean, I just, at first you think, okay, if it doesn't, you can't park it in the grass, is basically what you're saying, you gotta put it on an improved surface. Okay, but then what happens with if you've got a big lot and you wanna park it behind a tree in the back, and you don't wanna put an improved surface underneath it. A snowmobile trailer that you pull behind your tractor, or, you know, I personally have a multitude of different types of trailers. I don't keep them at my home, but I mean.
You have a ranch, though.
No,
Most of us can't afford
but
that.
What I'm saying is I have a bunch of different types of trailers, I don't keep them at my home, but, you know, the thing is if you didn't have a big enough area to put them, and you wanted to bring them home, you'd almost have to take and put a big driveway in, I guess.
Is there a way to do it by the size of the lot, Keith?
And that's what we got to zoning.
I mean, because you got 60-foot lots where people fill it up with everything.
Yeah.
Or you have a guy, like you said, has an acre lot, and he's got pine trees in back, and...
But don't we already have an ordinance that says, that, I mean, if I own an acre lot and I live in a 2,000 square foot home, does the ordinance say I can pave my entire yard with blacktop?
No.
So we already have ordinances.
The percentage for that.
But what I'm saying, what Rick is saying is, okay, the guy's got an acre lot, it's enclosed, it's very private, and he parks his trailer where nobody else sees it, okay? So it's not a nuisance type thing that we run into where you got a 60-foot lot and it's full of trailers, you know what I mean? So, I guess, out of sight, out of mind, and if you're courteous to your neighbors and use common sense,
That's
they
one
probably
thing.
don't even care about the
Correct.
trailers, you
Correct.
know?
Aren't you more likely to have the trailers by the water where the lots are smaller versus up off
Sure,
the
the river,
road?
sure.
Yeah, for
Particularly
sure.
maybe-
And I think that's probably where the problem is because,
Maybe
you know,
we need to ask Randy and what he sees.
well, I hope that will be a very long meeting. We'll have Randy come in and we'll be here for a month.
I'm just,
But-
Well, again,
I mean, it's a good idea. I
come
don't
in
think
and see
it's...
him, because
I
he
mean,
sees it every day.
Right, refer back to ordinance or to, you know, if they have a recommendation,
Well, Tom, it'll be Tom's new challenge.
there you go.
There you go, Tom.
Okay.
DMG.
Kyle, Steve, go ahead.
Ordinance.
Ordinance. It'll be...
You got marijuana?
I can say that.
That's action.
And recommendation is marijuana and.
Kyle wanted a lot to do. He's got it. Just figure it out.
All over, boss.
Yeah.
Thanks, Keith.
And whatever you do, you'll probably have your neighbors mad at you. So,
Yeah, well, that's the other.
it is a problem, because, I mean, you know, people that got bigger lots, and even a smaller,
There's people that have,
even a smaller lot that is private, you know, that's well matured, and they park something in the back where it doesn't bother anybody, do we want to get those people all ticked off? Why should we? You know, I mean, I guess it's common sense. I mean, and we already got an ordinance that you can only cover, like Keith said, a certain amount of the lot. You know, with blacktop, now we're saying it's got to be an unapproved surface.
believe me,
Surface.
where Josh and I live, we see a hell of a lot more crap out there than trailers. In people's driveways.
Collectors out there, you know?
Yeah.
Collectors.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the problem, it's no different than what we did with the drop boxes, you know? They became a nuisance and looked like hell.
Yeah.
And why do we need them when there's places to go and just drop the stuff off? And people were dropping all their junk there to get rid of it. It would be different, same thing, you know? Oh, I don't want to pay to get rid of it, so I'll drop it at the drop box for the Salvation Army or whoever.
There's a lot of other issues out there other than people with their trailers in their driveways.
Oh, yeah, and what would they be? So what ordinance know about them?
Well,
No, I mean, seriously, I mean, what...
Take a ride down River Terrace and you'll see it.
Let's work on it, because this comes up here all the time, and you can't expect staff they gotta enforce the ordinance, Randy's gotta enforce the ordinance.
I understand.
You know,
I understand.
so it's something that we should be
You know,
addressing.
Randy comes by probably like every couple of weeks, I see him, and I say, go check out this place, because this guy's got junk in his yard, and it should not be allowed, you know. I mean, I can't see it out my front window, but if I go for a walk, I can see it, and it's just right. So, from my perspective, trailers, they fall pretty low on my perspective.
I guess it depends where you live,
Yes.
because I think it's very high on other people's list.
Well,
You know, and
if you
so I
live in
mean,
Dutch- if you live in Dutch Creek and somebody's got a trailer in their driveway, or a couple of trailers in their driveway, that's an issue. But I can show you a place to say it would.
Well, the hard part about it is, like you say, you have an area where everybody parks their boat trailers. Now, if we make an ordinance,
We do.
are you gonna pave that it's gotta be on an improved surface?
I don't want to.
Okay, I mean, so,
I don't
those
want
are
to.
all the things.
I mean, it's well maintained, we pull the trailers out 2 times a year, we mow it,
I get it.
and we keep it neat.
And that's exactly what I'm saying about the guy that has a large lot that doesn't fill his whole lot up with trailers, or even a half-acre lot that's private, and he can put the trailer in there, and nobody sees it.
I don't think that's something we need to chase after right now. My perspective.
I think it's something we do because it's been brought up, the ordinance. So I think that we should be looking at it.
Well, we should look at it, but
I mean, we haven't solved it.
I don't know if it's a high priority right now.
Well, we can say it's not a high priority and we'll never look at it. But when people are calling here, when people are calling here saying, okay, you know, I got a mess next door, and Randy goes out there and says, well, there's nothing I can do with it because there's no teeth in the ordinance, you know? And I don't think, like I said, I don't think if people use common sense, it would be a problem.
So where are the covenant laws or rules in these subdivisions? And where does that stand? I mean, we're not forced to engage their covenant laws.
I think a lot of these areas are not really subdivisions.
Yeah, that's
The
true.
ordinance would overrule
Yours
the covenant.
is more organized by
Kevin.
it's just kind of everybody.
The ordinance would overrule the covenant.
Yes, I mean, the problem with the covenants is this is, even if, say it's a newer subdivision that does have a set of trailers, the difficulty one faces is a neighbor saying, I'm gonna take my neighbor to court, and that's how you enforce them. I mean, covenants are nothing but private promises made among the homeowners out there. I think as a practical matter, they just don't get enforced very often because of the awkwardness, the attorney's fees, unless you have some sort of active homeowners association that's going to undertake that, and I don't know if I can even think of any in the village that would undertake that effort. You know, they're just much more diligent in, say, Huntley, where you have a 500-unit subdivision, and they're on top of it. You put a shrub in the wrong place, they're on top of it. And so, I mean, I think the difficult part for Randy would be to at least examine what other similarly situated towns have on the books with respect to, you know, a major river, going through their boundaries. It's very specific. You know, I don't know if things are much looser in McHenry. I don't think you want to look to what they do in Lake Forest. I think the second aspect of it is enforcement. I'm not sure common sense will prevail. If a neighbor's mad and someone says their trailer is parked behind the pine tree, if it doesn't conform to our ordinance, the question is going to be, do we enforce it? I think it's a tough situation to put this in different zones, in different zoning districts. If there's a perception that people in a welfare area, even despite the bigger setbacks, I understand the argument, but the perception of the larger lots getting away with more than the smaller lots.
That's bad.
I guess the only thing I want to say is, like, how far do we want to push this? Do we want to push this? Do we want to tell people you can't have a trailer in your driveway or a grassy area? How far do you want to push it? And how far do we want to enforce it?
That's why we're having the discussion.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't know if we want to go there.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think that it should be seasonal.
I agree with that.
I think it should be seasonal. I mean,
I agree with that.
If the
trailer
trailer
should be there from, like, April, May till October.
when you're using it,
And then
yeah.
it needs to be put away.
I don't think the snowmobile trailer should sit in a driveway, on the side yard, in a front yard, all year long. you know, I mean, it's just common sense
I
for your neighbors.
I agree with that.
You know,
But,
and I like the idea that they're licensed, but if, you know, you have people that have and, you know, I'm not saying it's wrong, they got a snowmobile trailer, a wave runner trailer, a boat trailer in their yard, or a side yard, okay? And, you know, at least the snowmobile trailer should be put away. If there's not a boat or on the things, and they're not licensed.
and it's all common sense.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get to.
That's all
is
common sense.
I'm trying to get to something that Randy can enforce that makes common sense. Because they call the hall here, and Tim takes it, or Vinnie takes it, or Claudette, or
Right.
Becky, and Becky and them write up a ticket for
Give it to
Randy, and Randy runs out there and says, you know what? I mean, there's nothing I can do. We don't have an ordinance, so if we're going to, and you said there's other issues, and I know one down the street from you that there's more
Oh.
stuff in the front yard than imaginable.
No trailers there, it's just a...
No trailers, it's just junk all over.
Right.
I mean, I don't think a neighbor should have to put up with that, and I don't know how you control it.
I
agree with it, but I think that if you're gonna have seasonal trailers, you know, okay, if you can't put them in the backyard or hide them someplace, they shouldn't be there.
Or storm.
Put them
It should
away,
be stored.
store them. Store your snowmobiles in the summertime, store your boats in the
Well,
wintertime.
whatever we're gonna do with an ordinance in that regard, I'm all for it. But
Okay.
I just don't know that,
But I think the common sense comes into play, kind of like with the chickens. You know, we've got an ordinance against chickens, but if you got a few chickens and they're quiet and they're hidden, and your neighbors don't know.
Don't have a rooster.
Yeah, nobody says anything. As soon as you get that rooster, I'm calm.
Yeah, and I agree with you. So anyways, Kyle, just solve it for us and no problem. You know, just
Yeah,
come
take
back.
care of it.
We'll start looking at it in September for a couple of weeks. No,
put
I'm
that back,
excited.
put that on your list.
Pardon me?
Kyle?
I'm excited. I got it.
Okay.
We got 3 of them. We're okay.
I'm sure Keith and Randy got a lot of good ideas.
All right, they'll be called to the meeting also.
Thank you.
Look forward to that.
Oh.
Okay. Where were we? Committee reports? Trustee Foreman, anything that you wanna talk about besides?
I've got more, but we'll just let it go.
Oh, no, you've got it. It's getting ready for community beers.
We do have our final read on the drop-off process.
Okay.
And Kyle, you will handle that.
Was there any other
There was a
questions
slight
on
just
the
change.
drop?
No, we kind of finalized all that, and I think we're in good shape with that, so.
Well, thank you. Trustee Neckwood.
You guys been out paving, patching, and they started the cold storage building, so that's where they've been at.
You want to say anything on cold storage, Tim?
Under construction.
Yeah?
Those in,
When did the freezers go in? Somebody's asking me, what do we need a cold storage?
Hey, Johnsburg, Scott.
Walk there in January, it'll be plenty cold.
Yeah, it's funny.
those trusses get delivered tomorrow, so we'll start going vertical later in the week.
So we're talking October, they should be done with that?
Ahead of that,
Yeah. They go up pretty quick. Trustee Curtin?
Sure. Celebration of the park plans are moving forward, band and different folks to provide food, all that good stuff. And not really my committee, but just want to compliment Davey and those guys, like, the concrete's in for that bus shelter I get to hear about all the time. So that's looking nice. And Bill Comstock met with me today. Yeah, so McHenry Township Fire District has their big roast coming up, so they're going to use the 19th hole at Chapel Hill again this year. It's on Saturday, September 21st. So it's a week before celebration in the park. I believe last year we had a conflict where it ended
Did
up...
they contact all divisions?
Yeah, they're all set up.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got it all set up. So, anyway, Bill dropped these off to me and asked me to invite the trustees and yourself pass them down, but, he's hoping, they're hoping we can, let him know if you can make it, and hoping we can make it out there. Hmm?
Is he done?
Are you done,
That
trustee?
was quick, you want me to talk some more?
Yeah, sure.
No, I think that was about it. I don't know.
Trustee Hagan?
Talk for a little bit.
Yeah, we're meeting tomorrow, committee's meeting tomorrow, Tim is gonna grace us with his presence. We're gonna, better be good. We're gonna start talking about, looking at the maps for the Route 31 corridor, and maybe updating some of the, plans that we have down there.
Trustee Frost?
I have nothing this time. We're trying slow. We're just looking at maps, as I said last time. We haven't had our meeting for this month. The fourth Wednesday. I have nothing.
Trustee Clemson?
We're meeting on Thursday, so we'll report next week.
Okay.
You know, Ed,
Can I
always have special
one more thing.
Oh, yes, trustee.
It's not a committee thing, but I've noticed, well, at the end of the school year last year, I live across the street from the high school, and I'm out at the high school out with football and all, but it seems to be an ongoing thing that I noticed again today with the first day of school. People like to pull into the entrance, enter only off of Ringwood Road, and then like hang U-turns and clog up the entrance facing the wrong way. And, I don't know, it started with one or two last year, and by the end of the year, it seemed like there were half a dozen of them piled up in the turning lane and facing out when it's in only, and I don't know if there's anything we can do about that, but it just looks like it's an accident waiting to happen.
Citations.
Write 'em up.
Chief, you're on it, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Man,
Chief's on it.
knew he would be.
Okay, can we entertain a motion to go into executive session for litigation? Motion? Motion by trustee Curry, seconded by trustee McElroy. On the roll, trustee Foreman, trustee McElroy,
Aye.
trustee Curry,
Aye.
trustee Hagan,
Aye.
trustee Frost,
Aye.
and trustee Thompson.
Yeah.